Welcome to the Angus Report, a news program geared towards cattle producers. From the American Angus Association, we bring you a holiday special edition of the Angus Report. We take a look at the week's top headlines. We share some Christmas cheer.
Hello, I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Paige Wallace.
We've got some special guests in the studio today for the Angus Report. Let's start off this special Christmas event with you guys and what your names are and how old you are. Let's start with you.
My name is Kylie Malvern. I'm 10 years old. My name is John and I'm 7 years old. 4 years old.
And what's your name?
Carly.
Okay. What's your name, partner? Michael. And how old are you, Michael? 4 years old. Go ahead.
Hannah.
And how old? 5 years old?
My name is Hannah Malvern and I'm 6 years old.
All right.
Now, what do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas?
Johnny, you go first.
An Xbox 360 and a Kinect.
Oh.
Wow.
What about you? I want a
Just Dance 3? That sounds fun. What about you? iPod Touch. Wow. Anyone else? What do you want for Christmas? Cool. And what about you?
A baby kitten.
Oh, what will you name it?
I don't know.
You don't know yet. Okay.
You better come up with a name. You're going to have Santa really working on that one, aren't you? Okay, who likes to leave cookies and milk out for Santa on Christmas? Yeah? Okay, very good. You want to make Santa happy, don't you?
I don't like to make out milk for him.
Oh, yeah, it might get spoiled, huh? You have to be careful with that, right? Okay.
Well, do you all want to help us with the news?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Johnny, how about you get started? Tell us what's going on with the Angus Report, okay? Hop right up on that chair, and everybody else, let's move away so Johnny can give us the news, okay?
Sure. Thanks, Bob. Ethanol subsidies will expire at the end of each month unless Congress passes an extension. The renewable fuel standard now requires the nation to produce 36 billion gallons of renewable fuel in the next 10 years. Ranchers are concerned that if the production ceases, the livestock industry will feel the biggest hit. Increased feed costs will mean higher meat prices and less production on store sales.
Thanks, John. While tax season may be the last thing on your mind during the holidays, it is important for cattlemen to meet with their tax advisors before the end of the year.
Taxes are important.
For 2011, Congress allows 100% additional first-year depreciation on qualifying property, which is basically, in the farm setting, is most everything farmers purchase to use in the farm business, including buildings. In addition, there is a $500,000 limit on the Section 179 deduction, which is another way of writing off the purchase price of assets. And for some assets, they may qualify for 179 and not for the additional first-year depreciation, or vice versa. So both of those tools are available.
Experts advise producers to level off their income each year to remain in the same tax bracket. Cattle prices are expected to remain strong as ranchers begin rebuilding their herds in 2012. We're here with Corbett Wall, USDA Livestock and Grain Market News. Corbett, tell us about the past year in the cattle markets and what role did the drought play in that?
Well, as most folks that would be watching this program would know, we've seen an unprecedented run-up in all prices of beef products, and it just kind of culminated right there in the mid to latter part of November when we saw all-time record prices posted within just a couple of weeks on all classes of beef and cattle products. Now the drought just exacerbated the run-up that we were probably going to have anyway. We've seen a lot of cows slaughtered that would normally be in production, and those cattle were forced to slaughter due to the drought. We've been in, for the last several years, been in a big herd reduction, so we were kind of counting on that herd reduction to pull back a little bit and see lighter numbers of cows going to slaughter. But nobody could expect that, and we continue to have herd sell-off and a smaller herd size, which is now the smallest that we've seen since the 1950s.
Now, what do you anticipate for cattle markets in the coming months? Can you give us a synopsis for the coming year?
Well, Paige, there's no reason to believe that these markets are going to go back down just as fast as they come to these record levels. And as we a lot of times say, crops have to compete with one another for acreages. And I think it's gotten to the point now where cattle are competing with crops and recreation for the acreages. We may be nearing a short-term high, but these record prices that sound kind of strange to the ear probably will not sound very strange, over the coming years.
Well, thank you for joining us, Corbett.
Trent Luce says it's up to America's farmers and ranchers to share their stories with consumers.
It's important to talk about how what we do in agriculture improves human lives. Because if I'm asked the question, what is agriculture? It's pretty clearly the conversion of natural resources into human consumable products that improve human lives. And that's where we start. And what I've learned also is that we really need to go to almost a third grade level in educating people about where their food comes from and how it gets from the farm ultimately to their table. You only need two things to be a good advocate. You need to be a good listener, as I illustrated earlier, and you need to have the confidence to engage with people that you don't know in a conversation.
Luce spoke at a recent meeting in Nebraska. The Angus Foundation helps future generations through its youth, education, and research programs.
Organizations like the Angus Foundation are helping breeders and youth and researchers not only in their own projects and in their own industry, but because we're promoting these educational programs, research projects, and getting more funding for scholarships, we are allowing people to not only educate themselves, but also educate the public that's losing sight of agriculture. Although the campaign wraps up this year, this is not the ending point for us. Although the Vision of Value campaign will conclude, we will continue to raise funds to support education, youth, and research. We can't stop with that effort because these young people, these breeders, the research that we're funding is really the future of our industry. So we need to continue that effort.
Go online to learn more about the Vision of Value campaign for Angus. When the Angus Report returns, our guest anchors list their top reasons to eat beef this Christmas.
Plus, a Nebraska animal scientist says you can have marbling and cow herd function. He explains how when we return.